Previously on Comics Online, sugar.
This one's for you, Morph. Ah!
Lenore, you tore at our heartstrings with these last few episodes of X-Men 97. I'm so glad we finally get to talk about it. So
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
7 episodes in. Let's start at the beginning. Of course, we got to return to the world of X-Men. Can you talk about getting back into this character, returning to it after so many decades away?
Well, to be honest, it was pretty simple slipping into Rogue. I like to say it's like pulling on a pair of very fine, well-worn gloves that just fit. As soon as I slip into her character, she's just right there. And I realize I've been carrying her with me for the last 30 years. So it's really nice to be able to let her out again.
You've had quite a dramatic season from a love triangle perspective. Obviously, Rogue and Gambit is iconic, but we're getting to see a new dynamic in the animated series of Rogue and Magneto, which honestly I don't think anyone was expecting. Can you talk about getting to play with this dynamic with your performance?
Sure. Well, I had not known about the Rogue Magneto connection myself, but when I got into it, I found out that many comic collectors and people, fans of the X-Men, were aware that there are timelines and other universes where she and Magneto were an item and in fact had a child together. So, this was news to me. But so all I did was play the dynamics that I was given in the scenes. And to be honest, as an actor, it's fun to have those kinds of things where you can play with it. And the actors and I had a lot of fun in real life, too, with AJ Locasio and Matthew, who plays Magneto, kind of ribbing each other online and playing it up, which the fans really enjoyed as well. So we had a lot of fun.
When we spoke last year at C2E2, you told me that you guys were doing in-person cast recordings. Did that maintain for the entire duration of the season? And
yes. Like I go into the studio to do mine, but usually by myself. There's only been one time where AJ and I have gone in the studio at the same time and recorded together. But the rest of the time, we all just do our lines separately, which, to be honest, I know the show so well, and I know the characters so well, that it's pretty easy to do. I just picture it all in my head. I can hear the music. I can see it all when I read the scripts. And, you just have to have a really good imagination when you're doing voice acting.
Well, speaking of imagination, that 5th episode, weeks away, I think we're feeling the events. It's resonating heavily with the fan base.
Yes.
Can you talk about the emotional aspect of the massacre at Genosha? And I know that it hit home for you personally, but I would love to hear what was going through your mind as you were recording that very powerful episode.
Thank you. Thanks for that question. Yeah, I've talked about it a little bit about how I was already grieving personally in real life because my young niece, Maya, had passed away maybe 8 months before that to cancer, which she got, when she was 16, and then she was gone by the age of 17. So I was pretty devastated, brokenhearted, and I was able to channel all of that into my performance. And I decided that I should use that authentic emotion in my voice so that others could hear it and it would resonate with them. And maybe if they were feeling any kind of grief themselves from losing people, they could relate. And in fact, that's what's happened.
I don't think anyone expected that episode to hit as hard as it, other than Bo and your team, but just more, we had a lot of really great moments in the original series, but this one really felt like it flipped the script as far as expectations of what was possible with X-Men 97 and the series.
Yes, I know. I mean, we've had some other emotional ones, but not quite like this. And not where you lose one of the lead characters that people have grown up with and who they love as a beloved character. So it was very intense. And, when we went into then episode 7, where Rogue is on the rage, she's gone rogue. I think that's just another example of it's another stage of grief that many people go through, and it was a pleasure to be able to let loose and really go to those places that I know I can go to as an actor, and I have on stage before, but this is the first chance I've had to do it in any kind of like screen or recording venue.
Well, and speaking of that episode in particular, you got to play with one of our friends, Josh Keaton,
yes,
as Captain America. Spoilers, I mean, we're already a week out now at this point, so when this is going to be airing, but
yeah,
Josh getting to play Captain America, and Rogue had a very interesting interaction with Cap. And can you talk about the reaction of tossing the shield a great distance, but just more of like getting to play with that moment, because it seemed like you guys got to have a lot of fun with a very interesting Captain America Rogue dynamic.
It was so much fun. I mean, when she tosses it like a frisbee and it disappears way over another mountain, it was so much fun. It was a blast, and to see the fans' reaction online has been just amazing. And also, when she comes in there to the army compound and she's throwing tanks around, and they say, the Hulk couldn't get out of here. It was built to keep the Hulk in. Well, they're not used to Rogue and her energy, so it was a pleasure. It was so much fun to play.
There have been just a plethora of amazing sequences, but I just loved have any others hit home for you?
Well, to be honest, just, the last line in the episode 5 where I say, "Sugar, I can't feel you." That is a very emotional moment, and it was for me in real life with my niece when she passed. And so I hope that I've been able to touch people with my voice and have them feel the feelings and maybe even trigger some emotions that they didn't even know they had, so that they can also have a healing. For instance, I was in Philadelphia at a Comic-Con, the Mutant and Proud Comic-Con yesterday, and a gentleman came up to me and said, "Lenore, my father passed away 3 years ago, and I wasn't able to grieve him, and I couldn't cry. And then suddenly when I watched that episode, it triggered something in me, and I started bawling." And he said, for a few hours, and I realized I had been holding on to that for so long. So thank you for unleashing it within me. And I said, "And how do you feel now?" He said, "Well, I feel like I've been through like therapy. I feel like it was therapeutic. I feel so much freer and lighter now." So if I can do that with my voice, I'm really just fulfilled.
Well, congratulations again. I know
Thank
we have
you.
3 more episodes, another season in the can. Hopefully this is just the tip of the iceberg for X-Men 97.
I hope so. Your lips to God's ears, sugar.
Catherine, we're back at C2E2. Last year we couldn't talk X-Men 97, but now 7 episodes are out.
Now we can.
We can talk X-Men 97. Congratulations. The fan reaction has just been absolutely stellar.
Oh, that's great. I'm so happy.
It's been such a fun ride. I know this time you're Val Cooper.
This time I'm Val Cooper. I'm not Jean Grey.
How has it been watching it from this perspective and seeing how the events have unfolded for the world of X-Men?
Well, I can admit this to you and all of your readers, but I haven't actually watched the show yet.
Okay.
I'm waiting until all 10 episodes come out so I can binge watch all 10, but I remember the scripts. And so, I knew that episode 5 was going to be, I'm not going to ruin it for anybody.
No, we're spoiler talk. You're
Are you
good.
spoiler
Yep,
talk?
go for it.
I knew it was going to be a surprising and shocking episode for everybody. And I have to say, they made us audition again for our parts, and twice. And I went into a studio and I voice matched myself from 30 years ago. And I was kind of devastated when they didn't ask me to play Jean Grey again. But Val Cooper, when I agreed to do Val Cooper, I actually, Val Cooper has a much more interesting story and storyline than I anticipated, frankly. I didn't know who she was. And like I said, she has a very interesting journey that she goes through.
So in the second episode with the UN,
Yes.
we have the trial of Magneto.
Yes.
Very powerful moment for his character, but Val is very much intrinsically involved in that sequence.
Yes, I mean she represents authority.
Yeah.
She's an authoritative figure through all of this, but also it's her changing attitude towards mutants, and as the government representative that I found interesting, and that was sort of emblematic of, I think, of what the showrunner wanted, humans to us watching to have that same journey. She goes from one end of the spectrum to the other.
What moments have resonated the most for you? I know you haven't seen the current episodes, but just more of like, as far as reading the scripts as you were going through it, what hit home for you?
Well, the Genosha episode was a very impactful episode. I think it affected Val Cooper very deeply. And I think you see that later on in the season. I'm trying to remember what was in episode 7. So
we haven't seen Val since Genosha. So that's where we're at the moment. That's fine. Not going to push.
But I think Genosha affected her very deeply.
Okay. We're excited to see where she goes with the journey, but going from the original 5 seasons to this, it's taken on, I think, a very emotionally charged context.
I think in some ways, and the showrunner was very open about this, that it was not aimed at kids, this second X-Men 97. It was aimed at adults. And, I don't know what I think about that, because the first one was, ostensibly a kid's cartoon, but it wasn't written that way. It was written, to deal with big issues and written on many levels. And kids are going to watch X-Men 97 because it's an animated superhero series. And a lot of them have watched, because it's streaming simultaneously, the original. So there's a difference in that. So there's more violence, there's more overt violence and death. And I think that's a big change. I mean, I love the animation. And I've seen, a lot through ADR and stuff, so it's not like I haven't watched any of it. But the animation has evolved too in a really great way, I think. So when you look at the old one, I mean, it was great too, but then you look at the new one, it just it's like the old one on steroids. And the fact that they brought back the theme song, I don't know, I listen to that theme song and my whole body, I get goosebumps up and down my body when I hear that theme song.
Well, Catherine, it's a pleasure speaking with you again. Hopefully this will be just an ongoing annual tradition for C2E2. And
I love C2E2. I love Chicago.
Well, hopefully we have many, many more seasons of X-Men 97.
Well, thank you, and I'm actually very honored to be playing Val Cooper. I'm honored to be a part of the franchise still, and Jean Grey will always be in my heart and my bones and my soul, but I'm really honored to still be part of the franchise. I feel like I'm part of the mutant family.
So last year, we had talked about X-Men the Animated Series, your classic 5 seasons. Now we can actually talk about the 7 episodes that have come out. How has it been for you getting back into this character and the impact that X-Men 97's had for so many?
It was like it never stopped. It was like that, back in. Voice was immediately there. Although I had a really, really bad cough in the first 2 or 3 episodes. And people are saying, doesn't sound like him anymore. He sounds older. No, he is older.
I mean, Logan is immortal at this point, so
yeah. No, but that is gone. I mean, it was terrible. It was a really, really bad cough, and the people, the director, voice director, didn't know what to do. It took twice as long as it should have taken, just like to clear it, and to get the right sound.
With X-Men 97, you guys have had such an emotionally charged season, especially the Genosha episode of all.
Geez.
No one was expecting that moment. But how did that hit for you personally as you were recording Yeah, those episodes in particular.
It's like, what is going on here? Like, seriously, what is happening? And I can't give anything. I don't want to give anything away to people that haven't watched it. And a lot of people today said they haven't. They're waiting. They're busy doing something else, and they're waiting to look at it. So I couldn't tell them anything. You can't. But it was such a heavy episode, and much heavier than anything we ever did.
Let's backtrack to earlier in the season, something that's been out a little bit longer. You get to play with Morph. Wolverine and Morph's dynamics this season have been such a joy to see the friendship that we never really got to see in the early episodes. Obviously, we know he was concerned about Morph and devastated by the original loss in the pilot, but it's been so much fun to see that relationship play out on screen. Yeah. Can you talk about getting to interact with that character?
Well, it's hilarious, and it's funny because some of the lines are like, What do you want me to say here? Like, they just bounce off each other. It's such a natural thing, like brothers. It's almost like a brother thing. It's interesting, and I just found, I knew about it, but I didn't know the writers were discussing the whole thing to a panel we were doing, and they said that the reason we even created Morph was so we could kill him in our second or third episode, fourth, something like that. But we only created Morph so that we could kill him for the writers to be able to do that. And I found, wow, that's
and now
writers are crazy people,
and the character has resonated with so many. Honestly, Morph was one of my favorite characters from the original series,
and it's so resonated in our series with the fans because they just couldn't believe when that happened. It was by far Morph was the fans' favorite character.
So as far as these episodes, beyond your moments, what has been your favorite part of getting to come back and revisit the world of X-Men?
Just the fact that I'm again doing it, thankfully, and it's back in the same studio we were in 30 years ago, very same studio in Toronto. It's just bizarre. It's like, what's going on? It's like the Twilight Zone. Did I really never leave here? There, and it was so great to be Wolverine again. He's like my brother or my right arm. When our series ended, it was like, what? Now what? After 5 years, every other week, coming to do this? Can't do this. But it's those were the rules back then. 5 years, cut it. That's it. We're all done. And so this was just. We're all so excited. It was crazy. And speak of excited, when we were in Hollywood at the premiere, we flew from Toronto. And it was crazy. A red carpet treatment and the whole thing. The fans were crazy after it, chasing us for autographs and stuff. And it was so weird to see it because we're watching it for the first time too. And when I saw Wolverine come out in whatever episode it was, everyone in the place went nuts. There was about 1,000 fans in there. They're all paid to get in to see this. It was stupid. And every time any one of their favorites came up, like the Rogue showed up, it's like, yee-haw! It was just, at one point I turned to my wife, because the people went nuts, of course, when Wolverine said something stupid or funny. And I knew there was another line after that, but they were screaming and yelling and honest. I felt like saying, "Can you shut up? I'm trying to listen to my lines." I miss half of them because I'm deaf to begin with. So I turned away. What did he say?
It's been so much fun watching the Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean, Madeline dynamic play out as well.
I know.
Just it obviously is taking its own turn.
Yeah, and that funny line that he has, everyone went just berserk when when Jean says, "Oh, he's coming. He's here. He's here. She's pregnant.
Apocalypse.
Oh yeah. Who? Apocalypse? Where is he?"
I'm sorry, my Wolverine isn't as good as your Wolverine,
and then
but still.
Then she said, "No, like you idiot. No, the baby." He said, "Oh crap." And those are the lines I like him to be able to say again. Oh crap. And then when he gets to the hospital and the guy says we have to do a C-section, I'll show you a C-section.
I just love that you guys get to have so much fun with this, and obviously, that fun and that impact comes through with every single episode. And week to week, I know for me, and I know like many others, I'm getting up before work and watching X-Men, and I feel like a kid again. Yeah, but it's
well, you look like a kid again still.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
You're welcome, man.
But it's been so much fun to do that, and I can't think of any other show recently that's done that. I mean, of course, with the world of streaming, we get 10 episodes dumped at a time, but with your show we're getting it weekly.
Yeah.
And
Which
I
I
think
love.
that it's giving us a chance to really dissect it a little bit more, and the fan theories, it's just more of the engagement, the community around it has been so thrilling.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that as well from your side?
For sure. I would hate to have the whole season dumped and you can watch it all. This is just like our old series, weekly. You had to wait Saturday morning, baby, and get down in front of you hear that iconic theme song, and you'd run, stub your toe on anything, and just throw yourself over the couch to get it. This is making you wait. This is very cool. I like that a lot.
How often does the theme song get stuck in your head?
Every day, at least every day. I mean, and I bring it to the place here and just play it when I can, constantly.
I mean,
and everybody just turns around and goes nuts, and they start dancing and stuff to it.
It's such a good song.
Yes, it is.
I know what you're thinking, punk. Question is, can I get Wolverine before he turns me into shish kebab with those claws? Well, bub, seeing as how these claws are adamantium, the strongest metal known, and can slice through vanadium steel like a hot knife through butter, buddy, you gotta ask yourself, do I feel lucky?